Alright mga boss, next week magaganap na ang Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation o APEC dito sa ating bansa. Malaking event po ito. Pero paano nga ba ito maintindihan ng bawat sektor sa ating lipunan, lalo na ng mga kabataan? Kaya this morning makakasama natin ang ilan sa mga organizers ng APEC Voices of the Future. Walang iba kundi si Miss Christine Violago. Good morning.
Good morning.
She is the Executive Director of the Working Committee of the APEC Voices of the Future and the Logistics Head of the same committee, Mark Lozano. Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, welcome to our show.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure. Okay, so firstly, what is this Voices of the Future for APEC?
Yes, the Voices of the Future program is an annual event.
Okay.
Basically, wherever the host country is, dun ini-implement yung APEC Voices of the Future program.
So last year, it was in China.
Yes,
Beijing.
it was in Beijing.
Okay.
It started in 1998 in APEC Malaysia, and it's a week-long program wherein we bring in 100 to 150 youth delegates from the 21 APEC economies.
That's a lot.
Yes. And they engage in different activities in youth dialogue,
Okay.
including community visits.
All right.
So there.
Okay, so Mark, that's more than 100 delegates from
Yes.
more than 21 economies
From
in the
21,
APEC,
yes.
right? So as the logistics head, diba, how do you handle that pressure?
Well, we have a team and we have Christine to help out, but it's just a lot of coordination and making sure that everyone comes on time and that all their needs are catered to as well. So they're all in the same hotel, so it makes it easier to bring people from place to place.
All right, Christine, sabi mo kanina, this is in relation to APEC since 1998 in Malaysia, right?
Yes.
So what is the direct connection of this Voices of the Future to the APEC itself?
Well, aside from attending the APEC CEO Summit and APEC SME Summit, we also engage with the APEC or Business Advisory Council, which are CEOs and members of the different APEC economies.
Okay.
So what happens is we engage in dialogue, bring up issues relating to youth and within the region, and what are the pressing issues that we think are needed to be addressed.
For this year, ano ba yung pressing issue na directed sa youth natin?
It's all about inclusive growth.
Inclusive growth.
actually, Yes.
Okay, so what about inclusive growth?
Okay, so in layman's terms, inclusive growth is basically ensuring that growth isn't just limited to your big companies, but actually trickles down and affects all members of society. It allows them to really take advantage of all the opportunities available to them and makes them, basically empowers people also.
We realize that across the APEC economies, there are similarities within the youth issues that are being discussed. So part of it will be the
Job skill mismatch.
Okay.
transportation access that are good, basic health facilities. In the Philippines, it will be disaster risk management, since it's something that is very common to us, disasters. So how are we as youth ready and prepared for that?
When we're talking about inclusive growth, definitely it will be different to all the 21 economies in the APEC, right? So, paano nyo hahanapan ng connection, especially in gaps? Definitely, malaking gaps ng 21 economies. I mean, we have a lot of superpowers within the 21 economies and as well as developing countries. So, paano kayo mag-jive doon?
Well, one of the principles of APEC is that we don't see every economy as a separate economy, but as one body all trying to help each other. So one purpose of this Voices program is also to build connections between different youth members across all economies.
Okay.
And the idea is these members can all work together to solve problems together.
All right.
So maybe doing projects together in different countries and at the same time also engaging them in dialogue. So we have 3 days of dialogue with ABAC and between ourselves as well, to kind of see what the differences are and how we could work together.
That's correct. And I think what's good is we get to see the best practices that are happening or solutions coming from the different economies. We bring them back and see, hey, what are we as Filipinos are able to offer to these economies?
Okay. So as host of this Voices of the Future, is this the first time to host or not?
Yes, it's actually the first time the
to host the
Philippines
program.
is hosting this program.
So pressured ba kayo?
Yes, well, I think the pressure will always be there, but more than pressure, we're very, very excited because we know that Filipinos in general have this welcoming nature, and we want to share what the beauty of the Philippines is
And compared to the previous programs, we'd only be able to send 4 to 5 delegates every year.
Okay.
But now, since we're hosting the program, we're allowed to bring more. So right now, we have about 20 youth delegates from all around the Philippines. Yeah.
From all around the Philippines.
Yes.
Okay, so since this will start when? Tomorrow or?
Today.
Today. So
Today.
we are expecting all delegates from the 21 economies to arrive today?
Yes.
Yeah. We have about 17 or 18 economies represented.
Okay, could you have a brief rundown of the program?
Well, today we're having an orientation dinner. Tomorrow we have a session at the Asian Development Bank.
ADB.
Yes, we're going to have some workshops there. In the afternoon, we have the APEC Business Advisory Council Dialogue.
Yeah, so it'll be a really good opportunity for the youth to interact with different CEOs. The day after that, we have a full day in ADB, again, where we'll be discussing the youth forum and all the issues that concern the youth. The day after, we have a community visit to Gawad Kalinga Enchanted Farm, which would be a very new experience for, I think, a lot of the delegates coming over.
So talagang may expose talaga sila.
Definitely. Most of the delegates will be first-timers here in the Philippines.
Okay.
And so it's a breather for them to go outside and see what is the setting talaga in other regions. It's mostly agricultural. So it would be good to bring them to a center wherein the social enterprises rin are shown.
You know what, since high school, ako rin, nag-organize din ako ng mga conventions. Pero the most important thing is, ano yung pinaka-output? So what is the main output of this Voices of the Future?
It's a youth declaration, which will be sent basically to the ABAC members and also to the APEC economies as well.
So how will you draft this declaration?
During the opening ceremony, after that, we're having a dialogue. So each economy gets to present their particular issues and stands on certain issues, and then we try to vote, and then we'll see what best to put in this written document.
So it's about finding the similarities between the economies, or if not similarities, what are the priorities for the region as a whole?
Okay. So of course, since Manila, the Philippines is hosting, ano ba yung pinaka-basic factor or element na ma-offer ng Pilipinas since it's our first time to host? Ano kaya yun?
Well, more than just the community visits and the whole development sa Philippine setting, I think what would be a good program to present is the dialogues.
Yeah, this is actually the APEC Voices program with the most amount of dialogues and formal setting events. But aside from that, among the Philippine delegates that we've gotten, we've really had a long selection process. And we think we have...
These are the best of the best students.
Well, there are a lot of really, really good people here in the country. But then,
I think the background of the youth...
It's very diverse.
Yes, and very diverse. We have people from the government,
from
law school, people who are active in their communities or NGOs. So we try to select people. We try to select people that have active participation already in communities, and then they bring something to offer in the table when it comes to the dialogue process.
Okay. When we're talking about APEC, especially as part of the youth sector, minsan parang may gap kasi usually the APEC is being tackled by the experts. So in what way will your group transcend this gap, and what will be your actions, of course, to make everyone involved, to make everyone understand, aside from the delegates?
Well, we have our youth declarations, for example. So that's one way we can reach out to the higher-ups. But to reach everyone else, the whole idea is to build connections between these economies and to build a community that can work on projects together. So we've actually piloted some rural electrification projects with some other delegates from other countries here in the Philippines. And we're looking to do similar projects in their own economies as well.
You also have to note that these are young people, and these young people are future leaders of this region. So as early as now, when they are exposed to different communications and ideas, they get inspired to think outside the box and to see what more can we embrace.
Beyond their country, there's more. Okay, so this will start today, and we don't have much time anymore. But please invite everyone to maybe join your social media accounts para syempre involved pa rin sila kahit paano.
Yes, you can check us out in Facebook. Our official page is APEC Voices of the Future Philippines. And you can use our hashtag APEC VOF 2015.
All right, so that's our official hashtag for 3 days, for the whole week.
For the whole week.
Even for the CEO Summit and the SME Summit.
Okay, all right. So thank you so much for being here with us. And of course, sana maraming mga kabataan ang nanood at inspired na maging involved dito sa APEC. So APEC Voices of the Future will start today, and we are expecting more than 100 delegates coming from 21 economies in the APEC region. Once again, nakasama natin dito live sa studio ang Executive Director ng APEC Voices of the Future, Christine Violago, and the Logistics Head, Mark Lozano. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having
Thank you so much. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin po ang ating live discussions. Lahat ng yan sa pagbabalik ng Good Morning Boss.